Hi, I'm Diane Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. He is a podcast host, speaker, blogger, creator, and actor, no other than Mr. Bret Shuford. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Brad, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Daniel, thanks for having me. Like you said, I'm a creative, professional creative. Spent about 25 years working as an actor in New York City on Broadway, doing TV and film. And in that time, learned a lot about marketing and building a brand through telling stories, and found a passion for doing that. Created my own influencer account that now has garnered multiple six figures through brand partnerships, and we constantly are creating content through my other channel, Broadway Husbands. And so I felt really inspired to start to help other creatives who wanted to have more freedom, more time to be creative and still make money doing it by becoming a coach. So now I help other professional creatives build a brand, make money online.
Mr. Brad Shuford, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the
Yeah.
world. How do you define an authentic personal brand?
Well, to me, authenticity really is about aligning who you are when I'm in the room with you and I experience who you are, and you tell me your opinions and you tell me your tastes and things you like. I want to be able to open up your Instagram or whatever social media app you use and see that it feels and exactly the same. That who you are is exactly what I see. And I think that's tricky for some people who are maybe more self-conscious, or maybe have a fear of being seen, some who only want to be known for what they do. And these days, with the internet being what it is and social media being what it is and the political climate of the world, people want to know not just what you do, but what you stand for. And so I think it's super important to find the things that you feel confident in sharing and being willing to share them with the world.
Mr. Brad, why is authenticity so critical when building a personal brand today?
Well, like I said, I think it's critical because if you are only sharing, the truth is nobody cares about you on social media. They're not consuming content for you. They're looking for themselves represented. They're looking for a version of themselves that either they want to be or they have been in the past. And they want to know that you can help them feel seen, feel like they belong, or have some sort of solution to their problems. So if you want to be relatable, if you want people to feel connected to you, you have to be authentic. You can't just try to sell, because the people, especially nowadays, people can smell it a mile away when you're not aligned with who you truly are. And that trust, especially if you want to build a business and you want to make money online, trust is so important. We see it now. There's plenty of documentaries you can watch on Netflix about people who were inauthentic online and got in trouble for it. So really knowing who you are and being willing to share that with the world is vital, especially nowadays, if you want to grow and make a living online.
What is the first step someone should take when starting to craft their personal brand?
I think the most important thing is knowing who your audience is. So who do you want to serve? Now, when I say that, most people initially go to their insights and their analytics and look and see who the demographics are that the feed is sending. That's not what I mean when I talk about who your audience is. Who your audience is decided by you, not the algorithm. Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to help? Who are you speaking to every single day that you make a post, so that you're so clear about the message, the problem you solve, and the solution that you create, that there's no question of who you are and who that person is. So I think starting with who your ideal audience is the most important thing.
Totally agree, Mr. Brad. How can strong personal brand directly impact a person's income and career growth?
How can a strong personal brand directly impact your income and growth? I've personally, in my experience, have seen myself and other clients, the more I've posted and the more public I've been about sharing who I am, the more I've felt confident in who I am, the more confident I have felt in what I'm capable of and how good I am at what I do. When I was trying to decide before I posted something whether someone would like it, or trying to sort of sift through my content before posting it, I would have so much insecurity and fear around what are people going to think. But when I actually just started posting whenever I felt inspired to do so, as scary as it was at the time, over time, I feel more present, more clear about who I actually am in the world than ever. So, as far as growth goes, there's something about seeing yourself from the outside through your content that can help you have a better view of who you are on the inside. And what I've also learned is that the more clear I am about the things I stand for, having an opinion about things, being relatable to people, the more people are willing to trust me and give me their money and invest in the services that I have to offer.
Mr. Brad, what common mistakes do people make when trying to create their brand?
I think the most common mistake people make is only sharing what they do. So they might make a piece of content and it's only about their services or the products and not necessarily how it benefits their audience. So understanding, again, going back to who your audience is, people don't care about you. They don't care about, you know, they're interested in what it is that you do, like how you provide and can help them. That's the number one mistake I see a lot of people make. Yeah, the number two mistake is I think that people use a lot of social media still like it's a social account to stay in touch with friends and family, right? Like they're so
Yes,
afraid to make a post that might turn their parents off. And I'm like, you're not making content for your parents. That if you want to grow a business, your parents are not going to buy from you. They're just not. Your sister's not going to buy from you. So if that's getting in the way of you making content and showing up daily, block them. Tell them to call you if they want to know what's going on in your life. Use your social media with purpose and with consciousness to serve your ideal audience, not to stay in touch with friends and family.
definitely. Totally agree, Mr. Brad. How do you help clients uncover their true strength and unique value?
Most of the time, we start with the things that they're passionate about. Of course, we want to look at the things that make you money, but that is sort of bottom of the list. So when I'm working with clients, I help them start by understanding who they are, getting clear on not just who their ideal audience is, but what's their message. I always tell people your mess is your message. So the things that you've overcome in life and in business, those stories are so valuable for you to get your message out into the world. So knowing what your message is and being able to refine that and then repeatedly share that is so important and vulnerable. The vulnerable thing is the hard thing for so many people, but it's where the sweet sauce lies and really becoming known.
Yes, indeed. In your experience, what role does storytelling play in a building powerful personal brand?
Oh man, in my experience, storytelling, the role that it plays in building a strong personal brand. I mean, stories are what humans respond to. And I always tell people especially Instagram as a platform, it's not a video sharing platform. It's not a photo sharing platform. It's a storytelling platform. So you need to know how to tell your story on a greater scale through your profile, through your bio, all of that. So what is that story? But then every single post you make is a short story within that story. And so knowing what a hook is, knowing what a call to action is, like that's the beginning and the end of a story. Then the middle of that story is what you want people to feel or do. So I always tell people your content should do one of three things. It should educate, inspire, or entertain. So many people, especially in a service-based industry, they think they need to always be educating. But the truth is, there's value in just creating entertaining content because it makes people feel something, it gives them a break, it makes them feel motivated, inspired, laugh, cry, whatever it is. And there's value in feeling things. There's value in taking a moment and just being human and not always trying to just sell, sell, sell. So storytelling is super important so that you know what story you are telling, not just in your account, not just in your posts, but for your audience to really feel connected to you.
So, Mr. Brad, how can someone align their personal brand with their long-term professional goals?
A good way to align your personal brand with your long-term professional goals is number one, what do you want to be known for? And starting to create, not just even create, consuming first, becoming a conscious consumer of content. Meaning, are you following accounts of people who are doing that thing you want to do, who are serving the audience you want to eventually serve? Because success leaves clues. And if you're looking at what other people who are serving that community or creating content that in that space, you're going to always have inspiration to create your own version of that. You're going to understand what the market needs are. And that conscious consuming helps you listen, listening to the audience, giving them what they need, lying on other people's success. Because, like I said, success leaves clues. You don't have to start from scratch. And then what that does is when you're consuming from not from who you think you are, like if you think right now I'm not making enough money and I'm not doing that thing yet, stop consuming or creating content from who you think you are and start creating from the person that you're becoming, thinking ahead of this is what I want to be known for. And if every single day you're showing up as that person, you're already successful.
Totally agree. Mr. Brad, what advice would you give someone feels
Say that
promoting
again.
themselves? What advice would you give someone who feels Bret Shuford mortable promoting themselves?
So someone who feels that
Like you.
Bret Shuford, that feels
Yes.
like me, and they
Yes.
want to promote themselves.
Yes.
What advice would I give someone who feels like me? It's a good question. I would tell them to start before you feel ready. Like if you're thinking about making a post or thinking about making a piece of content, just make it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Get into action. Nothing, no one gets good at making anything without being cringy at first. So if you're afraid to be cringy, then you're doing it right. So just make it, just post it because you got to get through the cringy stage to get to the better stages. So you're just going to delay the inevitable if you're just waiting to feel ready.
Very well said, Mr. Brad. Very well said.
Thank you.
So, how do you balance personal authenticity with audience expectations?
How do I balance my personal authenticity with audience expectations? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
That's a tricky one, right? Because if we only listen to our audience and what people are expecting, then we're going to constantly censor ourselves. So what I try to do is lean more into where am I at today? What am I feeling today? What is the world like that I'm living in feel like? If stock prices have plummeted and there's a world trade war going on in the world, I'm not going to just pretend it's not existing, right? So if that's giving me stress today and it's paralyzing me in some way, I'm not going to just try to pretend that I feel great and make a post saying the world is so fabulous, right? I might make something that's like, okay, I'm feels like the world might be crashing down around me, but I'm going to keep going forward anyway. Acknowledging reality is huge. That's authentic, right? That's authenticity because you're living in the moment. So I think understanding who you are first and like being truthful about where you're at, what season you're in, and being okay to share that with the world in your content is huge. Now, your audience might come in and say, I hate this post. I'm going to unfollow you. Or you might end up getting something that goes viral and starts getting a bunch of trolls. Cool. Great. That's information. I let go of the feeling of needing that approval and use that information to say, okay, that didn't perform well, or I liked that. And I like that the people who unfollowed me were people I would want to unfollow me. Those aren't my people. And then you gauge that information, you listen to what people are saying in the comments, and if you agree and it feels right to you, you can make something in response. You could make something based off of what your audience is saying, but you really have to live in that moment, knowing who you are, what your values are, and when you're listening to your audience, gauge whether or not that person even aligns with your values. Like, is that even somebody I want to listen to? That's so important, and I think some of us overlook it when we're looking at just stats. We're looking at numbers. Oh no, I lost a bunch of followers. Well, if you lost a bunch of followers and they weren't your people, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
How does personal branding differ from entrepreneurs versus professionals working within organizations?
It's a great question. I mean, a personal brand really is a public facing, vulnerable account, right? So I'm stating my opinion. I'm telling you my taste, whether you like it or not. I'm letting people decide whether or not I'm their person. With an entrepreneur, you can build a business and never be seen as a person. Like, you can build a business and, the own network exists whether Oprah was the head of it or not, right? But Oprah as a personal brand gets a ton more followers than the own network on Instagram, right? So really, a personal brand, the difference is who you are, an entrepreneur or a business owner, that's what you do. Now, what's great about a personal brand is it can go anywhere with you. So if you decide to shut that business down or pivot in a new direction, you still get to take your personal brand with you. And that's why I think it's so important to have it, because then you can use it as leverage on wherever you decide to take yourself as a creative or a business owner.
So, Mr. Brad, what would be your short-term and long-term goals as a coach?
Well, honestly, I would really love to strengthen and build a large community of creatives who are putting themselves out there fearlessly. So I started the Show Up Club, which is our monthly membership. It's our group coaching program. And the Show Up Club is really encouraging people every week to start to show up more authentically, giving them the tools they need and the community they need to feel supported in doing that. That's a long-term goal. Short-term, I really would like to free up my time to have more time with my son. I have a 3-year-old, and he's going to probably start preschool in the fall, and I'd like to spend some time with him this summer before we enter this new phase of parenthood.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to parenthood, Mr. Brad.
Thanks.
So, good luck to your goals. What will be your advice for those people out there who want to launch their personal brand?
If you're looking to feel ready, you're never going to feel ready. So just start. Make sure your name is your personal brand. Don't try to come up with something super, creative. You are your personal brand. You're building a personal brand whether you're intentionally doing it or not. Every person who knows you, who works with you, knows your brand. So you might as well consciously start to build one online that you get to decide, you get to curate, you get to tell people what you want to be known for.
Can a personal brand evolve over time? And if so, how should someone manage the change?
It should evolve over time. The personal brand should evolve because you're human, uh, because the algorithms change. There's so many reasons why a personal brand would change. So the way to manage it is by always remaining curious, right? Don't feel static in what this is my brand. Remain curious. Like I said, listening to your audience, uh, engaging, and then noticing what the trends are in the market. What are people posting? What if you just stick with listening and letting social media be a real relationship between humans, you're going to evolve naturally based off of what's happening in the world and what your audience is asking for. And if you respond accordingly, it's never going to feel like an evolution. It's just going to happen.
Mr. Brad, can you recommend a book that empowers you of being a coach?
Oh, sure. Um, what's like my favorite coaching book right now? I may just finish reading Mel Robbins' Let Them Theory book, which is a great book. If you've not read it, I'm sure someone else might have suggested that. But another book that I highly recommend, no matter whether you're a coach, especially if you're a parent, is a book called What Happened to You. I can't think of the name of the author, but What Happened to You. It is a powerful book. It's an interview. I'm going to give you the name of the author. Happened to You. Bruce Perry. He's a doctor, a brain doctor, and him and Oprah are having a conversation about brain development. And so anyone, no matter who you are, whether you're a parent, especially if you're a parent, but this is a really powerful book in understanding the things that get in our way that we were perhaps raised on with our family units. A lot of the blocks that we have aren't because of who we are naturally, but because of the systems that we were raised in.
Yes, people, what happened to you is highly recommended by Mr. Bret Shuford. What is the most powerful transformation you have seen in a client after they develop their authentic brand?
I would say I have one client who came to me. He wanted to be a YouTuber, and he was working for a major bank. So he was making good money with Bank of America, I think, at the time. And he was making YouTube videos, but was just struggling on figuring out how to like generate enough money through his YouTube videos to support himself and quit his job. And the key that we unlocked was he wasn't sharing enough about who he was as a person. So when we started to find a way to balance the content he wanted to make with his opinions and the things that he was passionate about and who he was, and put a little more personality in there, he all of a sudden, within 3 months of us coaching, was making a full-time living on YouTube and was able to quit his banking job. So that was a proof to me that understanding your personal brand is super important.
Very well said. Mr. Brad, congratulations.
Thank you.
So before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, and its fifth season, People Fifth Season, with Chef Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letter senders all over the world. So please do listen. Food 101, wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Brett, if someone could do just one thing today to move closer to a stronger personal brand, what would you recommend?
Make a post. Make a post and tell them who you are. Just say, hi, if you're new here, this is who I am.
Yes, Mr. Brett Shuford. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support us everything that you do?
Yes, come check me out on Instagram at Bret Shuford. You can go to my website, bretshuford.com. And I have a free download for anyone listening here who wants to learn how to make more cash in your content. You can also find that on bretshuford.com.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Brad Shuford because if you support him, more and more and more empowering coaching to come. So, Mr. Brad, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.